Hey guys, Raymond here from the Beginner Photography Podcast, and today we're talking about the wedding photographer that just won $1 million lawsuit against her wedding clients. Let's get into this.
Welcome to the Beginner Photography Podcast with Raymond Hatfield, the podcast dedicated to interviewing world-class photographers to ask them the questions you want answered. Whether you want to be the world's best wedding photographer, family photographer, pet photographer, or you just want to take better photos of your kids growing up, we will get you to start taking better photos today. Here with you as always, husband, father, home brewer, LA Dodgers fan, and award-winning Indianapolis wedding photographer, Raymond Hatfield.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Beginner Photography Podcast. Today we have a lot to talk about. This is actually a very interesting story that I'm sure you've seen on Facebook or headlines all over the place, but haven't really taken the time to dig into it. So today we're going to talk about it quite a bit. But first, a little update. I know that I've told you guys in the past few weeks that I've started a brand new video course for photographers, and I really haven't shared much about it, but I can't share much more today. But what I can tell you is that I've been recording videos, I've been getting everything together, and everything is coming along incredibly. I am, it's not even finished, and I'm already, extremely proud of how it's turning out so far. But what I can tell you is that I'm covering everything that you need to know if you want to up the quality of your photography. This course is not just going to be for beginners. So again, I'll have some more details next week, but I can say that the course is, it's very comprehensive, and I've done some research on you guys. I've asked you in the past, what sorts of education do you need? Where do you feel like your photography is lacking the most? And I took all of that information and compiled the best possible course that I ever could imagine. One of the other questions that I asked is, how much would you pay for the knowledge of how to fix whatever problem you have? And it ranged from $20 up to $100. And almost overwhelmingly, everybody said that they would spend more than $50 for a course like this, which really surprised me. It really showed that you guys have struggles that maybe aren't as easy to find as you had hoped, either on YouTube, or maybe there's just not one place where it's all together. I'm not sure what it is, but I gotta say, $50 is still pretty expensive, especially if you're a beginner and you're still saving up for like a new lens or, that new flash modifier or whatever it is that you're saving up for. It should really be a good tripod. But anyway, I've decided that this course is going to be 100% free, not a penny, like no joke, absolutely free. And it's crazy. My wife was talking to me when I was explaining all of the details to her, and she's like, "You've put in 3 months of work into this course so far, and you're giving it away for free because..." I was like, I don't know, I just kind of want everybody to start off on the right foot, like with all the information that I didn't have when I first started. So I'm taking information that I've learned from my own experiences and guests as well to just make this an incredible course. So I'm really excited to get this out to you guys. It'll probably be out sometime in September. So if you're listening to this in the future, it's already out. Head over to the beginnerphotographypodcast.com and get it now. But for those of you listening live, you are going to have to wait a few weeks, and I'm going to give you more information, of course. So, I'm not really trying to get rich off the podcast. I think that that's a little crazy to think about. But, if you have learned anything from the podcast at all, and you appreciate everything that I've done, there is a way that you can help without sending me a single penny, which is great for you. And that is the Amazon link on the Beginner Photography Podcast website. That's right. Seriously, a lot of you guys have been going and using it, which has really been helping out. In fact, last, 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure, a while ago, we had a power surge in our house caused by a lightning strike hitting a transformer for the power right outside of our window. Woke me up from a dead sleep, which was crazy. But in the morning, lots of things broke, and one of the things that died in the power surge was our Nest thermostat. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that, and it was very sad. But if you don't know what a Nest thermostat is, it's like this like stupid expensive like thermostat that learns whether you're home or not and adjusts the temperature accordingly. So like if you work a 9 to 5, it knows that you come home at 5:30 every day. So at 5 o'clock, it'll turn on the air conditioner so that when you get home, hey, it's nice and cold. But I work from home, so I didn't really find any like the value in this thing at all. So I actually went to Lowe's to just get a regular old thermostat, and I found it for $100. And I thought, okay, that's fair, but let me just check Amazon real quick. And sure enough, Amazon had the exact same thermostat for only $80. So I asked Lowe's if they would price match it, and they said that they wouldn't. So Lowe's lost out on $100 that day, and Amazon once again saved me $20 on something that I needed to buy anyway. So like that just keeps happening time and time again. One of the other things that died was a power brick for my light. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, the power adapter died, and I had to buy another one of those as well without having to, rebuy the entire light. And of course, Amazon had that, things that you don't even think about. So if you go to the beginnerphotographypodcast.com and use the Amazon link, you just click on the button. It takes you right to Amazon. You can buy whatever you're going to buy anyway, or things that you don't even know that you need, but you actually do. And you can just buy them. It doesn't cost you any extra money, but Amazon sends us a tiny percentage as a thank you to us for sending them business. And I am always extremely grateful for you helping us out. Because again, it doesn't cost you a single penny, but it really does help out the podcast. And that's it. So, guys, we're going to get into today's episode. It's kind of a long one, so hold on tight. You might need a pen and a paper. I hope that I can explain everything well enough, but it's a wild ride that this photographer went on. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it right now.
Is that better?
I don't know. I can't. Yeah, you have to tell me. What do you think?
Well, I'll put my hand up. It's up. Put my hand down. It's down. It's like a little weird.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't know. So whenever that was happening to me on my last computer, I would just like go into the preferences and then just like turn off the video and then just restart it again.
Oh, no, I know why it's doing that. I'm exporting something out of Lightroom right now. And I bet that's what it is.
Is it a huge export?
No, but I mean, fuck, it's an old Mac Pro. Or not even old. You'd think it would do something here, but
it's a current Mac Pro.
Yeah, that has to be what it is. I guarantee as soon as it stops it'll be fine.
Oh shit.
Because I was just using Skype for like 2 hours and I didn't have a problem.
Oh, it's not like a wedding or anything. It shouldn't take too long.
No. It's just an editorial shoot I did today.
Oh, okay, right on.
So it's literally almost done.
Well, have you did you read any of the source material that I sent you on today's?
I have copious notes.
You
copious
took lots
notes
of
and thoughts.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. This is good. I took a lot of notes as well because
I'm curious to see what your opinion's going to be because we haven't talked about this, right?
You're right. We haven't talked about this.
Are we recording right now?
I mean, technically, it's always recording.
Oh, yeah, because I think this would be good banter.
Okay, cool. Then we're just going to go ahead and get on into it then, I guess. We're just going to do that. All right, then first, let's talk about you. You said earlier that you had an editorial today. What else have you been doing this week?
Dude, the last 2 weeks of my life have literally been bananas. It's like so ridiculous.
In a good way or in a bad?
Yeah, totally. No, totally in a good way. It's just like right now, kind of like editorial kind of goes through seasons, just kind of like weddings and stuff too. Just because like issues come out, and then depending on if they're like quarterly or monthly or whatever, they kind of go through their cycles, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, I've just had. Honestly, I had 8 assignments in the last 5 days, and with editorial, they're always on super tight deadlines. Like it's always like we need them tomorrow, like just because of deadlines with like getting everything out to print and stuff,
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like last week I had 5 editorial shoots. This week I've had 3, and then in between that time I took like a little mini vacay for 5 days. And then I had some wedding meetings, booked a couple weddings, and then I'm working on 2 like really big major personal projects right now. I don't know. Do we have time to even talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to cliff note them, for sure, I want to hear about them.
Yeah, so basically, you know how I do like those like day in the life family documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
So one of them is like they're both like just like I don't know. Overall, I feel my life and my talents, as a photographer, has a greater purpose than just putting food on the table, for my family. So I've really been looking for like personal projects, and like I'm really into charity work, just in general in my life. So I finally found 2 things that like truly like resonate with me. One is this couple I met through an editorial assignment actually started a foundation that focuses on helping like parents going through like child loss, especially like infant child loss or stillborn child loss, deal with that because they went through it. So now they've put together a whole foundation that works with like these hospitals on helping people get through that. And basically what they do is they have these trained nurses that volunteer their time to help these people go through all this stuff, which really resonate with me because, like my wife and I, we lost triplet boys. So that's like something really close to me. So I pitched the idea of doing kind of taking this day in the life family kind of idea approach into the hospital setting. Like Jeremy Cowart did a really good advertising campaign on this for one of the hospitals up by him. So that kind of helped inspire my idea for the same thing for this, to document like, people going through this process and different aspects of the hospital and things, to kind of use it to help people kind of, one, understand that it's okay to feel this way, that other people go through it too, kind of help them deal with that, but also kind of bring awareness to the whole topic itself, because I don't think there's enough awareness about it in general,
Right.
And to kind of help promote and advertise the foundation. So essentially I'm going to be doing all this for free as a charity project to help the foundation and stuff out. And then the second one is I started doing a day in the life with a couple like local here that has a terminally ill child. So he's definitely going to die. And I mean, it's a horrible story. He's going through like a really rare disease, and there's a lot of community support for the family here already, like a lot of fundraising and stuff like that. But what I'm doing is basically I'm spending 1 to 2 or 3 days a week, every single week with them, basically till the end, and where I'm kind of turning it into, I mean, it's a personal project, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I want them to have all these amazing memories, and I think if anybody's going to appreciate what I do as a family documentary photographer, they definitely will,
Of course. Wow.
So that's the main kind of reason behind it. But then also, one of the magazines that I work with is really close to this family, which is kind of how I found out about them. And they do a lot of fundraising. Yeah, they do a lot of fundraising for them. And so they're going to use it for a few articles and a few upcoming issues, but also they're using a lot of the photos to help kind of create more awareness about what the family goes through, and to kind of have power behind these images to kind of help boost more charity contributions, hopefully, and just kind of bring awareness to what they deal with and what this kind of disease is and stuff like that. So it's serving a lot of different purposes, and then I'm creating a special section on my website that's going to be called like essentially Project Mikey. It's all about him. That's his name, Mikey. And it's going to be like my it's going to be all the photos from these documentaries, but it's kind of my relationship and how that goes with the family and with him as the time goes on.
Wow.
And then I'm going to offer, I haven't decided yet, but probably like 10 to 15% off any family documentaries that are purchased, by other couples and families. 10 or 15% of that's going to go straight back to the family to help support what they're dealing with him,
Dude, that is heavy. That is very heavy right there. There's a lot of emotions going on just hearing that, for sure. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm not even sure what to say, and especially like to keep it going on for so long, like obviously until the end, that has got to be draining on you.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily know that yet. At first, it was supposed to be like a 1 week kind of thing, maybe a couple days, and then I started talking to one of like the people that own one of the magazines I shoot for, and we kind of brainstormed and came up with this crazy idea. Well, let's do it for like the next 6 months because we're going to release an issue like in 6 months that's going to be perfect for the theme of the issue for this type of topic, right? So I was like, yeah, that's an amazing idea. And then I just started thinking, well, I'm just going to do it indefinitely, you know?
Yeah.
But just it's something that like like there again it really fuels my soul to be able to give this to them.
Sure. Yeah.
It kind of inspires me in my photography and my life and stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
that,
My
that
first day
makes
is
me want to take on a personal project. Oh, so you haven't even like met with the family yet, or you haven't even shot them yet?
We've chatted. My very first day for this is going to be on Sunday from like 6:30 in the morning until about 2. And then my second day is going to be Tuesday when he goes to one of his doctor's appointments for about 4 or 5 hours. Wow. And then from there on out, it was kind of dependent on my schedule and their schedule and stuff like that. But it'll be at least 1 to 2 days a week. And then, as winter comes along, I usually slow down. So I might do, 2 or 3 days a week. Just
That's going to be insane.
Whatever fits. Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, if anybody's going to appreciate photography, it's going to be those parents right there for what you're going to be able to capture of Mikey. So, well,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm super excited to hear more about it and like catch up with you like as time goes on. I think that's
I
really
think it's gonna be it's a lot of fun and just inspiration and a roller coaster for sure.
Definitely a roller coaster. Yeah. Well, this is this is probably the worst segue ever. But speaking of roller coasters, this week has been quite intense for the news world of wedding photography, hasn't it?
Yeah, that is very true. Well, before we get into that real quick, what's been going on with you? Because we don't know what's going on with you.
Well, after the past month of waiting for my my new computer, it finally arrived. No thanks to UPS. I had to go and get it myself from the shipping facility because I paid for expedited shipping. It was supposed to be here from China within like 4 days or something like that. And it spent 5 days in China. Finally made it to America. Spent another 4 days just like minutes away from my house. And then finally the day that it was supposed to be delivered, I got a text on my phone saying that UPS had improperly handled my package and that it would result in another delay of delivery by one more business day. And this was on a Saturday, and I was like, oh great, now I can't even get it till Monday. So finally Monday I called them up and I was just like, hey, so you guys improperly handled my package. I don't know what that means. Like, I'm close to you guys. Is there any way that I can just come pick it up? And they said, well, okay, yeah, sure, like it's just the one package. So sure enough, that's exactly what I did. I just went and picked it up and finally got it, and it's beautiful, but it's funny because it's like I wanted this thing for so long, and now that I have it, it's like cool. Like, I knew that this wasn't going to make my work better or easier. It's just like I don't know how to put it into words. It's just like, okay, cool. Now it's just like reliability. You know what I mean? Earlier,
is it faster? I mean, work faster?
Yeah, technically, but the problem comes like in Lightroom is that Lightroom doesn't utilize all system specs, so it's kind of topped out. Same. But everything else is much more efficient. It just feels smoother, and I just know that it's gonna be working better here in the future. But it's not like a day and night difference. But I'm okay with it. I'm really happy with the computer, obviously, and so that's that. But the one thing that just like kills me every time is the price of these iMac computers. I mean, it's insane. Obviously, for the technology that's in it, this beautiful 5K display, super fast processor, lots of RAM, super fast solid state drives, it's justifiable. But still, seeing that price is it kind of hurts inside every single time. And then this week, of course, all over the news, everywhere. I've seen this on like national news channels this week. A wedding photographer sued a couple whose wedding that she shot and won her case for $1 million. Like, this is
That's
everywhere.
insane.
$1 million.
Yeah.
And so everyone's saying, like, you know, wedding photographer sues couple, wins $1 million. And they're just like putting it into this box that is just so insane that we had to talk about it, because I had to look into this. This doesn't make any sense. You know, you hear about these big lawsuits and you think like the McDonald's coffee lawsuit where that lady won $1 million, which after looking into this case, I looked into that McDonald's case, and it was totally justifiable as well.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that up, because I listened to a whole podcast just on that one thing.
Oh, seriously?
And after hearing that, I'm like, I agree with her. I'm glad she won that money.
Right. Like, apparently she didn't even ask for the $1 million. She was only asking for like $30,000 or something to help with hospital bills. And the jury was like, no, McDonald's was so wrong here that they awarded her a much larger
they
sum of
legitimately,
money.
like, she had severe, like, ridiculously severe burns, like a lifelong, like damage. You know?
It's crazy. So like, obviously I wanted to look more into this and find out where like this $1 million came from. But for everybody listening who doesn't know about this story, without even getting into the lawsuit side, Matt, you've been looking into this. You kind of want to give a summary of what happened?
Yeah, I'll try. Maybe you can help too. But I guess essentially what happened was, well, this was like 3 or 4 years, two years ago, right? Yeah. So back in 2014, the couple sued over essentially a $150 album cover. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. That's kind of where it all started.
They assumed that it was it was supposed to be included in the $6,000 they spent initially, and apparently, I guess it wasn't included. It was an additional charge. And then it just got insanely out of control, apparently, because I don't know how it even ended up into all of this suing over $150.
Well, okay, so I tried to do as much research as humanly possible because I wanted to connect the dots. I was really, really intrigued as to where this $1 million figure came from. So essentially what had happened, I'll give a little bit more detail. Couple hired a wedding photographer, paid her $6,000 to shoot their wedding. The wedding photographer shot the wedding. And in the contract, it states that the couple got an album, I believe it was a 40-page album with a total of 80 photos were included that they could put in the album. The couple had decided to upgrade their album cover. I'm assuming something with a photo in it, or maybe a different, like,
I didn't know that part.
leather or something like that.
So the couple wanted to upgrade.
Yes.
So initially it came with some type of cover.
Yeah.
They wanted to upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't get that part. I never saw anything about that it came with a cover. Because the way it read in the news, it said that the couple assumed it came with a cover. Like it didn't come with anything.
Like it was just all these random loose spreads.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like when I read it.
I'm not sure, however, more details about this cover, but so.
But it came with something.
It came with something.
Okay.
And then all of the communication had been back and forth between the couple and the studio manager up until this point. So this photographer has a very high volume of photography and has a studio manager who handles all the emails. So the couple expressed that they were not happy with this additional charge, that they thought that it was included in all this stuff. The studio manager then reached out to the photographer to say, hey, you have a very unhappy couple. This is what's going on. I'll let you deal with it. The photographer, with screenshots, has posted that she emailed the couple back and said, look, service and customer service is 100% my main focus. I'm so sorry that you guys, that there was some sort of confusion, that you thought that this wasn't included. I am going to be the bigger person here. Obviously, she didn't say this in the email, but she said, I'm just gonna cover this $125 and just let you guys have it because I want you guys to be a happy couple. I want you guys to be happy with your wedding photography services from me. And at this point, the couple had said, no thanks. They never got back to her. And that same day, the bride, who is some sort of social media expert. Like, this is her job.
Yeah.
She's a professional in social media. She's a fashion blogger. She had posted on her Instagram a photo of NBC in her house, just with the tagline, "Oh, no big deal, just NBC's in my house." So NBC, they tell NBC that in the contract it states that the photographer will deliver the low-resolution watermarked photos for the couple to pick out the photos that they want in the album. Once the couple picks out the photos that they want in the album is built, the album is shipped to the couple then also gets the high-resolution digital images. So because the couple weren't getting their album because of this dispute and charge, the couple was now saying that all of their wedding photos were being held hostage by this photographer over the $125 for this album cover. So NBC reached out to the photographer and said, "Hey, what do you have to say to this?" Obviously, she was very emotional. Like, where's all this coming from? I'm trying to solve this, like properly, like adults here. So she wrote this very long response. She didn't post this response, but everything that I'm getting right now is off of the photographer's website, and it's like a list of events of everything that happened. Okay?
Yeah.
So then at that point, the news said, "Okay, yeah, well, we'll try to fit in as much as we can into this news story," and only put in one sentence from the photographer. That was something like, "I wish that the couple, I wish they didn't have to come to this," or something like that. That's all that she put. So the news station was trying to spin it as though this was a very, wrong to do photographer. When this photographer had been in the industry for 10 plus years and has shot over 600 weddings, which is insane to me. Like, that's 60 weddings a year. Like, I can't even imagine ever shooting that many weddings. That's crazy. But that's what she was doing. 600 weddings a year. And, she worked very hard for her reputation, for her 5-star reviews. She said that she earned those. And I believe that she did. I don't think that you can be in business for 10 plus years with that sort of review and not, earn that credibility. So now this social media professional has decided to, create a war over this
It's like a
$125.
smear campaign, essentially.
I hesitate to say that because I'm not sure if that's where it was at this point.
Okay.
I just don't know. Okay, but the facts are is that the photographer reached out and tried to help the couple solve this problem that they were having, to the point to where she was just going to pay for it. The photographer was just going to take care of it, so that the couple would have nothing. Like, they were getting exactly what they were expecting, and yet the couple continued to push this further and further and further. So obviously, with the couple saying that their photos are being held hostage over this like negligible fee, you know what I mean? Because the couple saying, "Oh, well, like, why can't she just why can't we just have our photos?" Obviously, with the news spinning it like that, this photographer got inundated with hate mail, hate from everywhere. Her Facebook page, all over her website, her blogs had comments for days that were just hate. She even said that her couples, like her past couples, were getting hate mail for supporting this photographer, her bad
Jesus Christ.
It got to the point to where she had no other option but to close her business down, like to shut the doors. So then at this point, like, she's just feeling like emotional and overwhelmed, and she's looking online at like all of these comments. Like, there are comments, and these aren't paraphrasing, these are exact comments. Comments from the bride saying, "I'm pretty sure her business is ruined. I hope that this goes viral. I'm feeling excited because justice has been served."
Dude, that's just so vindictive.
Yes, because at this point, like, justice has been served is simply now there's backlash, because that's what she was referring to. She wasn't referring to, "Oh, now we have our album, now we have our wedding photos." She was referring to, now this photographer is done. I've ruined her life. So because she has this influence, she's a fashion blogger, she has this large audience of people, she's telling her audience to leave bad reviews for this photographer all over the internet. there were comments from like random people who have never worked with photographers. Like this is an actual review on a Yelp page that says, "She gave me AIDS. The photos were okay. 2 stars."
What?
Wait. And the bride liked those comments, okay? There's another one that says, "All we need is an alibi, a large plot of land with no questions asked."
Jeez, dude,
Implying,
that's ridiculous.
let's kill this photographer. Like,
Yeah.
and once again, the bride liked that comment. So clearly, like, this is like bullying to the millionth degree. This bride is not somebody who's trying to get justice for what she thinks is some sort of wrongdoing. She's going out of her way to make this photographer
destroy
look
this. Yeah. Oh my God. That's
destroy.
so ridiculous.
Exactly. So here's where it gets interesting, because here's where we get to this $1 million. Okay. So the photographer, having to shut down her doors, she had to sue the couple because she had done. Now, I know that I'm a photographer. I know that you're a photographer, and it sounds like I'm just 100% on the photographer side here. But I'm going to preface this by saying that I legitimately tried to look at both sides as clearly as possible.
Yeah, I did too.
And this is what I see. Like, this is what I see from both sides. From the news, which is obviously going to be objective because it sounds way better that a photographer's holding a couple's photos hostage. Like, you're going to want to watch that story rather than, a mean bride says mean things on the internet, because nobody's going to want to watch that story. So the photographer, having to try and rebuild or reclaim her credibility, had to sue the couple. And so the charges, or however it works in the court system, the photographer took the couple to court for things like defamation, business disparagement, wrongful interference with prospective contracts, because the couple also reached out to the Professional Photographers of America to try to get her removed from. However that works.
Jesus.
Yes. Once again, going out of their way.
Is that a thing?
The PPA. So
dude, did they like quit their job and just do this full time? I mean, it sounds like so much work.
That's what I was thinking. And the last was civil conspiracy. So once again, $1 million. So
I don't know what civil conspiracy is, but the other ones sound legit.
Well, she conspired to have all of these people leave bad reviews.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I can see that. Obviously, it wasn't in any sort of criminal manner, but if you conspired to have a bunch of people show up and, do mean things, I guess that would be considered civil conspiracy. Yeah. So when it came time to figuring out this $1 million, again, this blows my mind. I'm thinking of my business. I'm thinking of a photographer who does a really high turnaround and makes a really, really good living. So a really expensive wedding for a wedding photographer is $10,000, right? Getting paid $10,000 to shoot a wedding is wow, you've made it. Congratulations. You know your stuff. You're getting paid a good wage, regardless of where you live. Now, of course, there's higher end luxury photographers, but we're talking about just good old.
Yeah, I think 10 grand is going into the luxury market for sure, regardless of where you live.
Sure. So
I would say.
Let's assume that you could shoot 30 weddings a year. That's $300,000, right?
Yeah.
But that's in revenue. That's not in how much you would bring home. So again, this $1 million seems, whoa, where is this number coming from? Well, the photographer had to quit. She had to stop doing photography entirely because she couldn't get any work for the entire length of this case, which is now, to this point, 2.5 years. The photographer released her tax filing documents showing proof that in the average year she would make $800,000, $700,000, $570,000 in this 3-year span. Those were those 3 years, which is insane that she's making close to $1 million already in just 1
Especially
year.
for where she lives. She lives in Texas or
She
something.
lives in Texas. But, I mean, again, shooting 60 weddings a year. And if you look at her website, she also shoots seniors, newborns, boudoir. Like, she shoots
Is it
everything.
like multiple photographer studio? I couldn't find that information
I
out.
couldn't
I
find
didn't
that
know.
information either. And the
It
fact
has
that
to be though. It has to be.
I couldn't imagine anything else. But the fact
Yeah.
that, the company is called Her Name Photography as opposed to some sort of studio, that's what leaves me questioning what's going on here.
I know of a few like people that it's like their personal name, but they have associates and stuff. And I just don't see like everybody I know that's making that kind of money all have multiple associate photographers.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be something. It's got to be something. But when she like suddenly when I saw that in a 3-year span, that is like $2.3 million or what is that? 8 and 7 and 5, 14 and then okay, so that's almost $2 million.
It seems like they should have been awarded more almost.
That was my next thought, which once again
Yeah.
I absolutely insane. Absolutely insane to think to go from $1 million. Like, where the hell did they come up with that number? Like, they clearly just pulled that out of their ass. There's no way that this photographer deserves $1 million. To all of a sudden, like 2 hours of research later, thinking she should have sued for twice that much, and
Yeah.
it still totally would have been justifiable.
At least. I would have said more than that, just because now of the reputation aspect. And you can't just build a reputation overnight. It's not like they solve the case and it gets turned on the next day,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tomorrow, I guarantee she's not going to start booking 60 weddings a year. Because like you said, it doesn't work like that. So suddenly, this, like I said, this case that I thought was just absolutely ludicrous and was just something that sounded really good on the news is a legitimate case. It has grounds, and I feel like apparently the jury only deliberated for 2 hours, which my wife watches a lot of like ID channel, and the shorter the amount of time, the more sure the jury is to choose a guilty verdict. So 2 hours is just like insane, but yeah, she won for $1 million. So now, of course, the couple is going to appeal, which everybody does. But it's insane. So like one of my biggest takeaways from this whole thing, I thought like, what would I do in this situation? Like, how would I handle all this? And to tell you the truth, like, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I mean, obviously, I think that this photographer is a stronger woman than I could ever. She's a stronger human than I am. You know what I mean? If you look on her website, again, she's 100% like dedicated to service. She said that, years ago, she I think the exact quote was something like, service means, or being dedicated to service means, having to miscarry your 6-month-old or your 6-month pregnancy on a Thursday and then shoot a wedding the next day.
And I read that too, and I was just like, I can't even imagine. I mean, obviously, I went through that, and there would have been no way I could have done that.
Right.
I mean, I'm not even a woman. So it's probably 10 million times as worse emotionally than it is for a guy. I would assume.
I would assume so as well. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
But it just like everything that she talks about is dedicated to service. So at the end of it, I mean, I felt like it was right that it was a just decision, but
I'm almost disappointed that it's not more. Like I really am.
Yeah. I don't know. It's strange, but now this photographer, like if you look at her website, she has a brand new website up. I think it just went up 2 days ago after the.
Oh, really? Soon?
Well, if you look at it, you can tell that she's been waiting on this thing. That she's had 2.5 years to stir and figure out what her next move is going to be. And this woman, clearly, if her business was doing $800,000 a year, like, she's a smart woman. She knows what she's doing, like, in a business sense. So I guess it makes sense. Sure. But now she is really focused on what it looks like is teaching photographers business because, I mean, she can prove that she made that much money and that she knows what she's doing, which is,
it's already been proven.
It's already been
She
proven.
released all the tax
She
information.
had to,
Yeah,
of course.
I still haven't seen Trump's, but
yeah, still waiting on those, man. But as well as, or on top of all that, she's also becoming an activist for online bullying.
I saw that sass.
Yeah.
Sass.
Yeah,
Joe Sass.
I should really have written down what that stood for. But
it's something. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah. It's something
against something.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Social shaming? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to speculate.
Social shaming.
Was it really?
That's what it was.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's very clear here that we've gotten to a time where the things that you say on the internet, you're being held accountable for, which I love. I love that.
To a degree. I would say almost our technology is far past our laws, and they're
$1,000,000,000%
barely even scratching to get to the point to where it's becoming anything, law-wise.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But
it takes this much work. It takes this much effort. Maybe saying something rude or, something stupid like, oh, I'm going to kill you, isn't going to land you in jail. But the persistence that somebody would have to ask people to ruin this woman's career. Clearly, it's very emotional and has has base.
Well, think about this. Like, she literally could have committed suicide. I mean, it's that much like intense emotional pressure. Like, what then? Like, they throw a party? You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's what I was trying to think too. Yeah, that's another very
we
important
accomplished
thing.
our goal. Like,
is what were they hoping? Like, what was their end game going to be? Like, did they want this attention to grow their social following and then forget that this photographer ever existed and now she has like these new followers? Like I just don't understand it. When it's made clear that the photographer wanted to help so much that she was just going to waive the fee. Like, that was her first reaction. It wasn't even like no. Like,
see, and I didn't pick up on that. I didn't see that because I actually wrote down, like, that was one of my notes. It's like, that's totally what I would have done, just right off the bat. But now that I know that she already did that, well, like, what else do you want? Like, I don't understand. Like, I've given you everything you want.
Literally, this was your complaint. Here's your solution.
I solved the problem. Yeah. We're good to go. Yeah.
They didn't want it. They just wanted some sort of revenge or something. But it's still very sad, to see is that, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. But you still it. What am I trying to say? Like, it shows how important and how much curating your presence is online, and how much providing excellent customer service is. Because when all of this happened, I don't know about all of her past brides, but a number of past brides came up to bat to help her, like, as much as they could. And who knows, maybe you shot a wedding for a lawyer. Maybe you shot a wedding for somebody who knows a lawyer and they're willing to help, but
like pro bono style.
Yeah, I doubt it for this kind of money, for $1 million.
Well, that's just what I was thinking too. Like, all right, so now she gets this $1 million. Even if she got the money, dude, that lawyer's gonna take a huge chunk.
Probably like $300,000. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So it's nothing. It's like pennies essentially compared to what she would have made and lost value wise and untangibly.
Sure. 100%. So I guess, Matt, we should just stop leaving bad reviews for random fast food restaurants online now.
What's this insane? Is people like legitimately do that? Like, they just had nothing better to do with their lives but to do stuff like that, I guess.
I don't know if it's people have nothing better to do with their lives. I think that it's just like there's like this anonymous cloak that you can put on yourself that we have felt up until this point while you're on the internet. And
like the keyboard warrior.
Exactly. Yeah. People think that they can
Yeah.
say whatever they want because nobody's ever gonna they're not face to face with anybody. There's no raw emotion there. People can just have word diarrhea all over the keyboard and just literally say whatever they want. And now that we're being held more accountable by companies like Google, you can just sign into your one account and now you can post on all these blogs. But guess what? It's linked back to you, so you better watch what you say. I'm a huge proponent of that. I believe in it strongly because words do hurt, unfortunately.
It's amazing because you see it all the time in the news about like these middle school kids committing suicide over like being bullied by like sixth graders on Facebook. It's insane.
Or even parents bullying other kids.
Or other parents.
Yeah.
It's just like what are these people doing?
I know.
That's what we've come to. That's what we do now. It's just so ridiculous.
We just need to all act like adults,
and have compassion and love.
Yes.
It's just, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But one thing that I'm going to double check is my I don't know. I guess it's probably not liability insurance, but some sort of I'm just gonna go through and check out all of my insurance policies on my business to make sure that
very smart
if something
and
like
contracts.
this were to happen. Yeah, and double check all of my contracts because whereas it said in the in the contract what it was that they received, there was still some
one
sort
thing
of gray
I did
area.
notice, there was absolutely no mention of album cover.
Sure,
it said what the album was, like the size and the number of pages and things. There was no mention of album cover in the actual contract line item. And I didn't even know, like, until you told me. I didn't see anything in any of the articles about it was already included and they just wanted an upgrade. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, so again, just make sure that this is one of those things that you don't think is going to be a problem until it becomes a problem. And this was a huge problem for this photographer. And even though I don't think that the $1 million is, even though she's not going to get that much money, even though the $1 million is helpful and it shows validity to her claim that she is a serious photographer who's doing her best. My Siri went off for some strange reason. It's the government listening in on me. Listening to all
Siri.
these, hey, stop it. So, even though she did get that money, it's not going to help. Like, it's not going to fix it. You did it to yourself. But it's not going to fix everything. It's not going to fix her business. It's just, that justification that she wasn't in the wrong here, and I think that's
what's
important.
even worse about all that. She won $1 million. That doesn't mean she's gonna make anything from these people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like winning something and actually getting two different things.
Yeah, because especially how long would it take a couple?
I don't know what these people do or what they make or anything, but that's a lot of money.
Even $1 million. I mean, whoo-wee. Yeah, even if your wages are garnished, it's like. It's tough. It's tough. Who knows if she's ever going to see a penny of that? But so Matt, our homework for the week is to double check our contracts and talk with an attorney and just see what, kind of see what we could do if we were ever in a situation like this. So.
Yeah, for sure. I would say too, it just kind of goes to show how important contracts are. And it's even if you do free work, you should still have a contract. Because it helps protect you and the couple, but it also sets expectations. And there's something to refer back to, if it's free or not. It doesn't matter. But I think that's really important for sure. And definitely, it's just weird because I see on Facebook a lot, hey, people, where are you getting your contracts from? And it's just the one contract that works for one business, you can't just copy and paste that and use it for your own.
Yeah.
Because there's differences in businesses, there's difference in state laws and local laws, all kinds of stuff. You need,
or even just how you want to run your business.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you had a template, that needs to be looked over by a lawyer in your area, and it might cost you a couple $100, but that's gonna be well worth it if you ever do need it.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing wrong with the contract, the whole case can be thrown out that quick.
Scary
and
stuff.
it's happened a lot.
Yeah. It's like for this one case where this photographer won, like it makes you wonder how many cases didn't end up the same way for the photographer just because they had a poor contract, and how much money they were out, and how easily their reputation was tarnished over, saving $150 by not talking to an attorney about your contract. So guys, get it looked at. Like, even if you have nothing, go and just at least start the conversation with a lawyer. And maybe those templates are a good start. Fill it in, but then take it to an attorney. Ask them to make sure that it's, up to date, and that, they don't see any other major issues depending on your local, state, or county regulations.
I will say, like, when I first did all my contracts, there was a couple things that I didn't have in there that really are very specific to where I live.
Oh, interesting.
That the lawyer cut. And I was like, ooh, well, thank you.
Yeah, right. See, it paid for itself right away.
Yeah, and it literally cost me, like, I want to say $200, and they looked over 8 different contracts.
That's legit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that
super
much.
Cheap. No. So
yeah, it was like an hour of work,
There you go.
It probably took them 10 minutes, but they charged me for an hour.
Well, I know who I'm going to call first thing in the morning to get that done. So again, guys, I want to hear what you guys think. Head over to thebeginnerphotographypodcast.com and check out the show notes for this episode, and leave me a comment. Do you think that this photographer got what she was owed, or do you think that $1 million is just ludicrous amount of money? So,
or do you think she should have got nothing?
Oh yeah, or do you think she should have got nothing? Yeah. And if that's what you think, then you're in the wrong business. So. All right. Well, Matt, this was a good chat, man. This was a good chat. It was something that obviously I've been getting questions about. That I'm glad that I educated myself on the whole situation, because it's not as black and white as the media makes it seem.
And that's just another thing, man. I can't stand the news. It's just it's all socialized for money. You can't trust it. It's ridiculous.
And now it's all about web clicks and clickbait. And
that's it, man.
It is terrible.
It's like it seems like all news sources have just turned to tabloids.
Right.
They're all Jerry Springer shows, like trying to get ad revenue.
Yeah, that's very true. So don't believe everything that you read just in the headlines.
Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, dig a little bit deeper. But. All right, Matt. Well, until next time we meet, this was a good chat, and I will talk to you next time.
All right, dude. See you later.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Beginner Photography Podcast. Be sure to join the conversations on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want any links or resources we talked about in today's episode, check out the show notes at beginnerphotographypodcast.com. See you again next week.